Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The curve is getting flatter, but the damage is still beyond words. 32,000 cases of coronavirus have been reported to date in the state of Michigan.
One of those cases, this 5-year-old girl, Skylar Herbert, lost her battle with COVID-19, becoming the youngest victim in our state.
And now a battle is brewing in Lansing over when the state can get back to business. And new numbers we're seeing today shows the staggering toll this pandemic is taking on all of us. Thanks for being with us for the news at 5. That all comes as Michigan House Republicans release their plan to reopen the state.
Here are today's headlines. A short time ago, Governor Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist announced a task force has been launched to take a hard look at racial disparities in the death rates. We'll have more on that in a minute.
But first, in Detroit, Mayor Mike Duggan announced testing is expanding to include all essential workers, but you must have an appointment first. And as numbers continue to fall, the mayor warns nursing homes are steadily becoming ground zero.
The thing that continues to be adding to the heartbreak is what's going on in the nursing homes. We're now up to 119 nursing home deaths, and I wouldn't be at all surprised when the final chapter on the coronavirus is written in Detroit if 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 of all of our victims were nursing home patients.
In Lansing tonight, the battle over the governor's stay-at-home order only seems to be heating up.
A new poll released by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce is adding fuel to that fire.
And two highlights: 27.3% of respondents who were working prior to the outbreak have filed for unemployment, and 28% of all respondents are worried about putting food on the table. We want to turn now to Rod Maloney with the GOP's new plan to reopen and what the governor has to say about it. Rod.
Yeah, Kimberly, the governor had said last week that she was going to roll out her plan on reopening Michigan in the next few days, and she didn't give us any guidance on that today. In fact, she said quite the opposite, that she expects that the stay-at-home order is going to have to be extended. Well, the Republican Party is not so anxious to see that happen the way she wants it to.
To those of you who want to get back to work as soon as possible, stay home. To those of you who made plans for June, July, or August and want to see them through, stay home.
The Republican-controlled legislature is not waiting. Out with its two separate but similar plans they called Open Michigan Safely today. The House plan starts with differing risk levels. Tier 1, the highest, covering Wayne, Oakland, Macomb counties, looking to send more state resources there, keeping the stay-at-home order in place, yet remove the 50,000 square foot store shopping limits. Tier 2 takes a lesser tone, keeps the stay-at-home order in place, and yet reduces large gathering limits. And finally, there is a Tier 3 standard that lifts the at-home order totally. House Speaker Lee Chatfield spoke with Local 4 News about the plan today.
Why Tier 2 and Tier 3, we begin releasing some of the restrictions that we have on the stay-at-home order and what the guidelines are that we are adopting and what the travel restrictions are. I think the more surgical we can be in fighting this, the more effective we can be.
The Senate plan concentrates on safe workplaces with the continuation of hand washing and other protocols, contains a larger resurgence plan, and takes geography into account. It also contains 5 phases and uses testing capabilities, healthcare capacity, PPE availability, availability of data, and finally a vaccine if we get one. Now, the plans are very detailed, and if you want to see them, we have them linked on clickondetroit.com so you can see where that is. In the meantime, the governor has until the 30th, April 30th, to decide how she wants to proceed, and the legislature has say in this. And so there's a brewing battle. Coming up on Local 4 News at 6, we'll take a look at exactly how that may play out. Reporting live in West Bloomfield, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Be watching for it. Okay, Rod, thank you. Also today, Governor Whitmer signed an executive order creating a coronavirus task force on racial disparities. Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist says he realizes the importance of the task force as he's lost 15 people in his life due to COVID-19.
This is why the Michigan Coronavirus Task Force on Racial Disparities is so important. And it's why we must treat this task force a little differently. Rather than just studying the problem and making a report later, we're assembling a team of experts that can take action in real time.
African Americans represent 40% of COVID-19 deaths, despite being only about 14% of the state's population.
And our other top story tonight, an outpouring of support for the family of the first child in Michigan to die from the coronavirus.
Yeah, Karen, this is just awful. 5-year-old Skylar Herbert passed away Sunday due to complications from COVID-19. Our Priya Mann shows us how everyone from Mayor Duggan to the Detroit Police Department is paying tribute to a life lost too soon.
Last month, Skylar started complaining about headaches. Weeks later, she died of complications from COVID-19. Both of her parents are first responders, and today, Detroit police came out in full force to show their support. A seemingly endless line of Detroit squad cars with lights and sirens flashing past the Herbert family's home. A tribute to parents who lost their 5-year-old daughter to COVID-19. Skylar Herbert died Sunday from complications, the first child in Michigan to die from the virus. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan started his daily press conference talking about the tragedy.
We lost 5-year-old Skylar Herbert, who was a real daughter of the city of Detroit. Her mom, Vonnie, is a police officer. Her father, Ebby, is a firefighter. People whose entire lives were built around building the city.
Last month, 5-year-old Skylar started complaining about headaches. Her parents took her to their pediatrician, but the medication didn't work. They took her to Beaumont Royal Oak, where Skylar tested positive for COVID-19. She then developed a rare form of meningitis and brain swelling. After spending 2 weeks on a ventilator, the little girl from Northwest Detroit passed away.
My heart especially goes out to the Herbert family and the loss of their 5-year-old child, Skylar.
I personally want to give my condolences to the Herbert family. Ebby Herbert is a good friend of mine.
And city officials all mourning the death of Detroit's daughter. Her parents say Skylar hadn't left her home in weeks and had no underlying health issues. Coming up at 6, you'll hear from her heartbroken parents. I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Of course, the death of a young child from this terrible illness is tragic and frightening to everyone. So we want to bring in Dr. Frank McGeorge to talk about the complication that was involved and the symptoms everyone needs to watch out for. Doc?
The process is called necrotizing encephalopathy, and fortunately, it is extremely rare. Now, the first reported case related to COVID-19 was actually described here in Detroit at Henry Ford Hospital in an article that was published only 3 weeks ago. Henry Ford neurologist Dr. Alyssa Forey was one of the doctors that treated that patient.
She had typical symptoms of COVID for about 4 days prior to developing neurological symptoms. And then she became confused. And when her family noticed that she was confused, she was brought to the emergency department.
Symptoms like confusion, disorientation, or lack of alertness aren't common in COVID-19, and they raise the possibility of brain involvement. Now, necrotizing encephalitis, which can be caused by other viruses like influenza and even chickenpox, is one of the conditions that doctors consider. The exact cause is unclear, but the most likely culprit is a person's own immune system.
We think that these inflammatory markers or some of these proteins that are revved up when people get sick that cause things like fever and chills, that these can attack the body in and of itself. And so at least for our patient, we think that this same sort of revved up hyperactive immune system is what caused the damage to her brain.
Now, although very rare, necrotizing encephalitis does occur in children more often than adults. Also, unfortunately, because it is so rare, beyond supportive care, there is no proven treatment. Now, the Henry Ford patient was able to be discharged to a rehab facility, and her doctors are very hopeful that she will continue to recover. Back to you.
All right, Doc. Small business owners across the country are waiting to see if Congress will approve more money by the end of this week to replenish a program aimed at keeping those businesses afloat and workers on the payroll. Alice Barr is in Washington tonight with the latest on the negotiations.
Kimberly, the Senate Majority Leader announced there is no deal today as Democrats keep negotiating with the Trump administration, but they'll be back at it tomorrow, hoping to reach an agreement that targets the right small businesses.
No deal today, but another round of emergency aid could soon be on the way from Washington to struggling main streets and hospitals across America. The White House and congressional leaders are still negotiating an interim coronavirus funding bill, including $310 billion for the Small Business Paycheck Protection Program that ran out of money within minutes of taking applications. And just who got that money is prompting outrage. Major restaurant chains like Potbelly, Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and Shake Shack received a combined $40 million, while Kim Farrow's small construction business applied for a loan at 8 banks with no luck.
If they already have enough money to sustain the next 6 months, then why not help all these small businesses that don't have the funds?
Today, Shake Shack says it will return its $10 million loan. The new bill expected to include $75 billion for hospitals and $25 billion for testing. Lawmakers hoping to approve it by as soon as Wednesday.
Even if that money is approved on Wednesday, it's going to take some time now. Whenever this opens up, you're going to have 800, 900,000 applications. They're going to hit the system all at once.
The bill does not include money for state and local governments, despite pleas for help from governors, especially as they try to ramp up testing to safely get people back to work. President Trump tweeting today, states, not the federal government, should be doing testing. That's after announcing last night he would invoke the Defense Production Act to produce more testing swabs in critically short supply. The president also voicing support for protesters, urging an end to stay-home orders in several states. A new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll shows 6 in 10 Americans are worried about moving too fast to loosen restrictions aimed at slowing the outbreak.
The former FDA commissioner said today we may not have widespread testing until September, making it a risk to reopen the country now, though he acknowledges the economy can't wait that long. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, much more ahead. Here's Ben.
Kim, that sunshine is sneaking us close to 60 degrees today, but we do have showers in the forecast. They'll be here before breakfast tomorrow. And wait to see the cold air that's going to affect us for most of the week. That's all next.
Flint's former mayor speaking out about Governor Snyder, his role in the water crisis, and she is not holding back. Help Me Hank tonight.
Families not able to be with their loved ones in hospitals right now. That's where social workers step in.
It feels really crazy, not to be able to see my husband. It's been since March 14th now.
How social workers have adapted in these times and what it means to local families.